his elect. What up, spiritual family, and welcome to Mount Fitness MBS Ministry, where I am your host, Brother His Elect Mongoose, and where this ministry is all about promoting as well as living a holistic mind, body, and spirit path to life itself, of course, to health and wellness, and an overall sense of true fulfillment. For some information about the services that are provided to assist you in this regards, please stay tuned to the end of the video. But for now, guys, let me again welcome you guys. I want to thank you very much. I'm a little bit kind of charged up because I've kind of had it, man. You know, we spend a lot of time talking about, you know, the wacky ways of the world. We spend time, you know, being aware of our surroundings and being aware of the fact that mankind, you know, has lost its way. We spend a lot of time talking about the fakery, the deceptions, and the false narratives that we've all been, you know, encouraged to live our lives in accordance with. We spend a lot of time talking about that and condemning those things, rightfully so. But we spend, in my opinion, sometimes we don't spend enough time holding our own feet to the fire and holding ourselves, me holding me accountable, you holding you accountable, and us uniting to hold one another accountable. Because a lot of the things that we see in those that we would refer to as disciples of darkness, narcissists, disingenuous, mean-spirited people, whatever. A lot of the things that we see in them and that we, you know, are repelled and we find disgusting about them, if we dig deeper, we can oftentimes find these things within ourselves. The good book warns to be careful not to point out the straw or the toothpick in someone else's eye when we in fact have a pole in our own eye. You see, because of, you know, the fakery that I just mentioned, that's at the core of what these kings and queens of chaos are. That's what's at the core of them, fakery and, you know, dishonesty and disingenuousness and cowardice and all these different things. When we go out there and we don't stand on the standard that has been set before us, then are we not doing the same thing? Are we not partaking in some of the same ways? When you're a confident man or woman, but you walk into a toxic environment where everybody is hating on you, attempting to shame you, belittle you, spread, you know, assassination, a character assassination, you know, rumors and lies, and you don't walk in the confidence that you are organically, you don't walk in it. Isn't that not being fake? Is that not being cowardice? Is that not being disingenuine? And it's not just when it comes to bravery or courage. You could flip that around and say some of you guys are truly humble. He gives and maketh men and women what he pleases, and he makes men and women to be how it pleases him. So some of us don't have an issue with that, with going out there and muffling our courage, because, you know, it's going to make us seem like we're Mr. Know-It-All. It's going to make us seem like we're a tough guy. You know, people that, you know, we need these business opportunities, so we're not going to walk in confidence. We're just going to be fake, and we're gonna tone it all down and not be who it is that he has made us to be. Some don't face that. Some, on the other hand, are good, clean, organically humble people. But you get in all these tough guy, tough girl situations, these tough guy, tough girls environment, and you're afraid to be truly humble because everybody's going to see that humbleness as weakness. Everybody's going to see that humbleness as, you being lame. Everybody's going to target that humbleness. So instead of you being who you truly are, which is a humble spirit, you go in there and you put on, as they say. You put on tough guy, tough girl. These are the same things that we despise in the narcissist. And so today's message, the title, as you've read, is Stop Running. Stop running from yourself. Stop running from who you are. Stop running from being courageous and stop running from being humble. Stop running from being confident. Stop running from all these things that you know in your heart you need to do a better job at. And when you zoom out, you can see it as running. You could see it as being fake. You could see it as being disingenuous. Because this word, this message, is piercing straight through the very fabric of some of you out there. You don't really walk like that. You don't really talk like that. You don't really believe in that. That's not what you really stand for. But in order to get that promotion, in order to not be classified as weird, in order to fit in order to get that ideal spouse or have an opportunity to meet someone that you're attracted to, you do all of these fake things. And you unintentionally become the things that you despise the most, which is fakery, cowardice, too afraid to be you. You don't even dress like that. But if you dress, a little bit more conservative, they're going to say, she thinks she's high-sididity. She's better than all the rest of us. If he wears that muscle shirt, if he buys that sports car, if he stands a certain way, people are going to see him a certain way. So he doesn't stand the way he organically stands. This is madness. And we can just continue to extrapolate this out further and further, because some of you guys and girls, you're running from assignments that the universe has specifically born and raised you up into fulfilling. You're abandoning your post in life, in certain situations and circumstances in life. Some of you guys are in the hood, and you're in the hood for the express purpose of letting people know in the hood that there has to be a better way, and you're committed to working towards finding and promoting that better way. Some of you guys are in Silicon Valley, and your finances are so closely intertwined with what's going on in the neighborhood and this upper echelon, if you want to call it that, of societal fabric. And you're there for the express purpose to say, hey guys, we got to give back more. We gotta find a way to lift everybody up, or at least more people, as many people, as we can. But no, you don't do that in the hood or in Silicon Valley and anywhere in between. So whether it's standing up against racism, standing up against bigotry, standing up against poor conduct, behavior, standing up to just be yourself. Now the time has come. Stop running. Sometimes you're not standing up out of fear. Sometimes you're not standing up and you're running away, because, it might be something that you get embarrassed by. There may be some shame. There's no shame in being you. There's no shame in standing up for the divine reason that you've been raised up for in the first place. There's no shame in that. I don't care if society tries to shame it, mock it, disparage it. There's no shame in that. And people, we've been so far twisted up in our own ways of thinking, not in and of ourselves. We didn't come up with these ways of thinking, but society, the social engineering schemes and projects, the lies that were handed down to us by our parents, the false narratives, the old wives' tales by society and in vogue culture as we were coming up. We've become so dislodged when it comes to organically thinking, when it comes to doing our own critical assessment and critical thinking and reaching our own decisions, not in a dismissive way, an arrogant or egotistical way, but just says, hey, what resonates with you? That is what defines if you should do this, do that, be this, be that, treat this person that way, treat that person that way. It's what resonates with you, not in all of these false narratives. And we've been indoctrinated to the point to where turning a blind eye and running away from things that we need to be standing still and confronting. We think that, turning a blind eye to it, that's just what you do. If you react to it, that's a sign of weakness. Oh, really? Since when did responding properly, efficiently, and effectively to your surroundings, when did that become a form of weakness? Who taught us this lie? Who taught us that we should just put the blinders on and let people treat us rudely or let people treat others rudely? Where did we get this nonsense from? I get students. I just did a workshop. It may have been over a month, maybe a month and a half ago. I just did a workshop. And I challenged the practitioners, or the participants, to define some ways and some situations that they think it's good and a natural organic human being should stand up for or stand up in, whether it's for themselves or for others. And what's some good situations and circumstances for human beings that kind of, just let it ride, rise above it, sidestep it, ignore it. Because we do have to do that as well. We can't just be running around here willy-nilly style, just addressing and confronting things that it's okay for us to let go. We're not here. We got to choose our battles. We get that. But don't you know, in this workshop, pretty much the only thing, or at least 85, maybe even 95% of the people said that they would stand up for these things, only included somebody being, physically harmed in an absolute worst way, or maybe somebody being, in a car accident or whatever, and a person just pull over and instincts, kick in, and they go out and they help that person in the midst of a burning fire or a house or whatever. But when it came to some of the basic fundamentals Some of the narcissistic things that go on day in and day out in collective society. People walking by you, coughing right behind your head. People, making your cheeseburger at a restaurant, and you said you didn't want any pickles. They put pickles on there anyway. Maybe it was an accident or whatever. But the overwhelming majority of people said, you know what? No, you just look over that. You just pull the pickles off. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. But I'm making a assertion here. I'm making a suggestion here that for you to not stand up and say, order this with no pickles. Hey, man, are you trying to be rude? Because that's you kind of standing real close to me when you cough like that. I'm making a proposal to you that there's nothing wrong with that. And in fact, as a result of collective societal members opting out of doing those kinds of things, this is how the enemy walks around and just literally feast off of people emotions. They psychically feed off of people's trauma. Because you're supposed to be able to stand there and just take it. I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds strange when you stop and think about it. But this is the world we live in. And you and I, as members of his chosen elect, whatever chosen, whatever elect means to you, you're called, you're raised up to a better, a higher, a greater purpose than that. Then we have to stop running. We have to find out a way to confront the things that we need to confront. Again, I do tons and tons of videos on emotional control, mental maturity and social awareness. I'm a huge fan of that, but not at the expense of you allowing yourself to be victimized. You allowing some poor innocent person who may not have the wherewithal, the strength, the courage, the understanding, the faith, or whatever, to stand up for themselves, and you having these things, and you just sit back and watch that person be taken advantage of. That's not what you're here for. You didn't study when it comes to doing math, so that when the time comes for you to do math, you just put down any nonsensical answer. No, you studied. You have gone through the fires and the rigors, the study, the research, the setbacks, mistakes by your own hand, family betrayal. You've gone through the fires and rigors of the mathematical practices. You know math. Stand on that math. How, you know what? It's ridiculous. We've been indoctrinated to think that, when you stand up for yourself, when you react, that's weakness. Since when? Since when? Oh, I get it. Yeah, since society told us that. It's not when you react that causes weakness. It's if and when you overreact or underreact. And this is why, again, we continue to see the character of collective society go to hell in a handbasket. Because you know what? You shouldn't acknowledge, you shouldn't run away from the fact that that's a fake person. That smile was fake. That courtesy, that compliment was disingenuous. You sensed it, but you know what? You shouldn't react to it. You should run away from that. You should invite them to your picnic, your party, your birthday, the parade. You should invite them to everything. Because you're going to run, because you should run away from the fact that you know that they're fake, they're disingenuous. You should run away from that. So again, is this not the very thing that we stand against? Whatever the situation, whatever the circumstances is, man, you have that knowledge, that insight, that experience to stop running from it. Again, be you, encouraging others to be them, to be confident, to be outgoing, or if it's to be laid back, stoic, and just doing your own thing humbly, whatever it is, and anything in between, any combination of those things in different situations and circumstances. But to negate everything that's organic of you, the things that you know you're called to do and to be and express, to bring into this world, to let that go because of fear, self-doubt, the thought of embarrassment, the thought of, people going to target you, people going to misunderstand you, people going to think you're tough, people going to think you're lame. To let those things go and run away from those things because of those things, no, you're better than that. You're stronger than that. You're wiser than that. You're more sharpened than that. So now go out there and be what it is that you know that you need to be. And stop running away from things. Again, at the risk of redundancy, I'm not saying you go out there and put yourself in you just run into a situation, you lose your job, you end up in jail, you end up hurting somebody ends up hurting you. I'm not saying that. But that balance, that trust that you have in this thing called God will let you know, this is how I handle this. I don't handle it by running away. And I don't handle it by, from arrogance. I don't handle it by being over-aggressive, over-assertive, overreacting. But I darn sure don't handle it by running from it. Those are the dysfunctional ways of the world. People run from everything. Nobody's going to stand up for anything other than foolishness. Oh, people will get in line to show you. They're quick to show you how foolish they are. They're quick to show you and impress upon you that, they're the victim. But other than that, they're not going to stand on anything. Caveat, if they think, some people's watching and, they could get a boost in their public, persona, they'll stand up, in a very empty way. But there's nothing about you that's empty. So on that job, in that relationship, in that neighborhood, be you, do you, and fulfill the God-given destiny that's been set before you. Stop running from who you are. Stop running away from who you are. Stop running away from the fact that person don't like you. Those people don't like you. Stop running away from the fact that you're the only people with good old-fashioned morals and integrity. Whether you're in the hood and you're the only person, whether you're in Saks Fifth Avenue, so-called Silicon Valley, out on the farmland, in China, if you're in Africa, you're in Brazil, it doesn't matter. If you're the only person with good old-fashioned integrity, then you still have to stand on that. You can't run away from that. You can't water that down. Not at you aborting the divine purpose for which you have been established. So that's what I got for you guys in today's message. I had spoke to someone and, a student, and they shared with me how, they was going through a situation, and I'm doing my best to encourage them that, you have to stand up for yourself. And they're beholding to this misguided notion that either they shouldn't stand up, it's okay, or they're going to stand up, but they're going to stand up meaning that they're going to get up from off of their back in terms of being mistreated by this entity, this corporation. They're going to get up from off of their back. They're going to roll over And instead of them being flat on their back, they're going to go to their knees and stand on their knees, begging, pleading, trying to massage the situation when they have been brutally and blatantly taken advantage of. So again, you don't have to go in there and blow your cool and lose your job, or you just have to stand up for yourself. You have to stand up for others. Because when you don't, this empowers these dark people to say, yeah, I can get away with this. This is how I get ahead in life. I treat people, I make noises behind their back. I give them the middle finger. I walk by coughing close to their face. I make their burger the way I want to make it. Whatever the case may be. And when you're not standing up, they go right on and continue to treat other people like that. So now what are you going to do? Because the calling that's on your life is for you and for others. This is what I got for you guys, man. I'm going to get out of here. Remember, this is a holistic mind, body, and spirit ministry, guys. The services that are provided by this ministry that are here to help strengthen and nourish you in all the different aspects of you, the mental you, the physical you, and the spiritual you. These services consist of experiential-based philosophical consultative services, good old-fashioned motivational speaking, clean-hearted spiritual teachings and practices, and of course, the certified physical fitness training. For information about the physical fitness training, please visit the website at mountfitnessmbs.com. For all of the other services, hit me up with the email link and let me go into details about how these services work and how they can be beneficial to you. The email link will always be down in the description box. Now, if you got value out of today's message, you know the drill, just as I do. When I do my research, when I do my studying, and I'm using YouTube or Instagram, or particularly YouTube, as a search engine, I know the drill. If I get anything out of that message, or if it's just a channel that I'm supporting, I don't even wait. Because I'm supporting the channel, whether I agree with that particular message or not. So I typically, before procrastination even has an opportunity to take hold, as soon as I click on the channel that I enjoy, I hit the thumbs up button. I'm already subscribed. But whatever way that you do it, if you haven't already done it, then do it now, please. Hit that share button. Take nourishment that was provided to you and share that nourishment with someone else. Also, if you would, please hit the thumbs up button for the algorithm, the bell icon for notifications, and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already subscribed. These things would mean a great deal to this ministry. And I really do mean that. This ministry is about sharing the message. There's that term again. And when I get it, I nourish off of it and I share it with you. And I'm pretty sure you're okay with the fact that, and the truth about it being, okay, now it's your turn to share. I know you've done some sharing today. Yesterday, you're a sharing person, but please share this message as well. If you'd like to make a monetary donation, I'm going to leave a Cash App link down in the description box. Remember, any good seed that you plant into this ground, you will receive an abundant harvest, shaken down, pressed together, and running over. So whether that good seed is in the form of a monetary donation, taking the time out to hit that share, like, and subscribe, to leave a comment, to send an email, investigate the services, utilize the services, any good seed, may it multiply back to you for some 10, for some 100, and for some even 1,000-fold, according to his will and his riches in heaven. But that's what I got for you guys. I love you all. I will see you in the next one, guys. Now go out there and stop running. The good book says, stand still and know, whether you call it God, Allah, Christ consciousness, Buddha, primary source, whatever you want to call it. Stand still and know that it is everything that it says it is. And you are everything that it says you are. I'll see you guys in the next one. My his elect family members. And yes, I am, brother, his elect mongoose. And I love you all. I'll see you in the next one. And I will holler back. Peace.